not sure why. I can't hear very well, but I can turn my volume down. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is make our gelatin mixture, which we're going to paint onto the wafer paper. And this gelatin mixture is just going to help our wafer paper be a little bit more stiff, but also make it flexible enough that we can do some fun things to it. So this recipe is on sugargeekshow.com. If you just type in edible leather, it will pop up. But I can also tell you, if you want to just know, it's 4 ounces of cold water, quarter cup, 18 grams of powdered gelatin, and then 10 grams of vegetable glycerin. So I already have my stuff weighed out. I'm going to switch my camera really quick here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Technology. Woo. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is my cold water here and my gelatin. And I'm just going to sprinkle that on there. And I've noticed that when other people make this, like in class or at home or whatever, they tend to really whisk this up. And you don't really want to do that. You're just trying to get the gelatin to the point where it is moist, but we're not trying to incorporate a ton of air. And what happens if you incorporate a ton of air, then you'll get a lot of foam, and then you scoop off the foam and you just kind of run out of gelatin. So you'd set this aside for about 5 minutes or so. And it's going to go from this sort of applesauce consistency to like kind of a solid consistency. And what's happening is that the water, all of those gelatin granules are absorbing the water and they're expanding. So it's important that you don't have any like little unwet pieces of gelatin, I guess. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to expand. And then once it's been setting for 5 minutes, yes, blooming. That's correct, Jesse. Thank you. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. My son is almost 3 and I still have a mommy brain. Like I just had him yesterday. I'm not sure if that ever goes away. So you can already see it's starting to get firmer and firmer as those gelatin granules swell. After it is done blooming, you're going to microwave this in the microwave, or you could do it over a double boiler if you don't have a microwave. You could even do it in a pot, but you could potentially burn it. And then you are going to microwave it in 15-second increments until it's fully melted and doesn't have any like unmelted bits in it. It will just look kind of clear. And then you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes and all of this foam is going to raise to the top. And you want to scoop all of that foam off because the foam it won't go away. That's why you don't want to like whisk it like really crazy, because then the foam won't go away. When it's melted, then you go ahead and add in your vegetable glycerin. I use Loran oils because I can just get this at Michael's, but you can find it for cheaper online. And then you can add the glycerin. And what this glycerin does is it basically keeps the gelatin soft so that when we paint it onto our wafer paper, it remains flexible. Now, you can add more glycerin if you find that your wafer paper is too hard and too crunchy and is cracking a lot. So don't be afraid to add more glycerin if you need to, and it will make it more. So if you add, the more glycerin you add, the more flexible it will become. So I'm not going to do all that part. Like I said, the recipe is on sugargeekshow.com. I already have some made, so I'm just going to put that aside. I think it is set though, and I need to pop it in the microwave. So here's some clear that I made yesterday, and it's firm, right? So you can keep this in the fridge for probably up to 4 or 5 days before it starts molding because of the moisture content in it. But it will, as it cools down, it gets firm again, and you can just pop it in the microwave and get it soft again. And I also have some here that has been colored green. So we're going to do a couple of different techniques for painting and coloring. But if you're making a ton of leaves like we were in Reno, you can just add your food coloring straight to the gelatin and just kind of skip the step of painting your leaves afterwards and just color the gelatin straight in. But if you're making multiple different colors of things and you only want to use one batch, you can just keep your gelatin mixture clear, paint it onto your wafer paper, and then you can paint the dried wafer paper. So here's the liquid now, right here. And then I have my Icing Images wafer paper, of course. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is do a Monstera leaf. So we did these Monstera leaves, like I said, at Reno, but we want, you know, you could do like one little small one, but we wanted to do a big one. So we took multiple leaves of wafer paper, sheets I should say, and glued them together with a little bit of this mixture. You can just put some on there and you can glue these two pieces together. And it's better than using water because it's not going to dissolve. It's not going to dissolve the wafer paper at all. So even if you wanted to glue just two sheets of wafer paper together, you can just use this, right? And it's a little wrinkly right now, but once it dries, it's not wrinkly anymore. And then you can take an edible marker and you can start drawing out, sorry, no, you can't see that. You can start drawing out your Monstera leaf. It's basically the same shape as any old regular leaf, except for there's little bites taken out of it. And I've drawn this so many times. I know exactly the shape of a Monstera leaf. As good as that. So that's a general Monstera. And then you can also put some like little ovals in here. Sometimes there's two. That. This is also called a Swiss cheese plant, right? So I like to use the edible pen so that I know where my outline is going to be. You can also use the edible printer and print this directly onto your sheets if you feel like you just don't feel very confident with your drawing skills. But then if you hand draw it, then all of them are, can be uniquely shaped.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty easy shape to draw out.
Super easy.
I can do it.
So then let me get my paintbrush here. I like to use kind of a bigger flat paintbrush. So like I said, if you're making a ton of these leaves, you could just like paint green straight on it. But I actually like to paint my Monstera leaves after the fact, so that way I can make them variegated or add different like shading and stuff. So I'm just gonna take that clear, and I'm just gonna brush it straight on there. And you wanna try and go pretty quickly so that you don't gum up, the gelatin cools down pretty quickly. So if you go slow, then it just starts to kind of like get all gummy looking. And then one time I tried doing this where I cut it out first, and that did not work out very well because as the gelatin dried, it started to curl around the edges and stuff. So that's it. You just have this guy. You can do the other side too if you want to, but you don't have to. And then don't forget, you want to put like a floral wire on here, and then secure that down with some more gelatin. And then as this dries, all of this is going to dry together, and this wire will help hold the wafer paper up. Now, as you get even bigger, like as you start making huge leaves, then you actually want to even take these wires and create veining, so that you're basically recreating what happens in nature, where you have the floral wires supporting everything. So you would have like a little piece coming here, a piece coming here. And you can even make fairy wings this way. Like if you're making a fairy cake and you want to make like some fairy wings for the back of your fairy cake, you could do it this way as well. Okay. And then what I do is I put this onto some plastic wrap. You can see right here, there's plastic wrap. Hopefully I can peel this up without damaging it. Oh, nope, it's gonna be damaged. It's okay, this was just a demo piece anyway. Normally you would do this all on the plastic. I don't recommend picking it up after you've done this because now it's all gummy and stretchy or whatever. So I have, this is what it looks like when it's dry. So this one I painted a little bit green and then I was like, I don't want to paint it too much green because I can't see my outline anymore. Can you see it? Can you see the outline that I drew on that? I don't think you really can. Anyways, I drew a very light outline with a pencil. So this is what it looks like after it's dried.
Yeah, you can't see that marking on there at all. That's great.
Yeah, but I just used a pencil for this one. But I don't think it's a big deal to use a little bit of pencil, but if you don't want to, you can use the edible marker.
Well, I've heard that it's actually like non-toxic now. So
yeah, it's just it's graphite, so it's not dangerous or toxic or anything, and it's such a teeny tiny amount, you know. So then another one that I did was for flowers, like for the hibiscus. I'll have like a sheet of the just regular white, or you could use pre-colored. Are you still doing the pre-colored wafer paper, Debbie, or are you guys discontinuing that?
we only have the pink now, and the pink is smooth on one side and it has a diamond pattern kind of cut into it on the other.
Yeah.
But most people honestly are just, spraying it or painting it or dusting it.
Yeah, I think it's, unless you needed it like perfectly, like even color, which very rarely I feel like I need, then it's just easier to just get the white and then just color it as you need to,
Yeah, well, I mean, wafer paper in and of itself, even the pink is not totally colored perfectly. There's always variations.
For sure, yeah. So for this one, I painted the sheet with just one layer of the gelatin mixture, and you can see how flexible this is, and has a little bit of a shine on it. And then you can cut out whatever shapes for what petals you need. So of course, depending on how many petals you made is how many you would need. So I'm making my little hibiscus leaves here. And then you can kind of curl them. You can also dry these like on top of spoons, or like a little piece of plastic wrap in a cupcake container, and that will make it dry a little bit more rounded. But I usually just kind of give them some life that way. And again, you can use a template if you need to, but I'm so lazy. I just want to do I just freeform everything. I'm like, it looks good. But I get that if you're not comfortable freeforming. So I cut these all out at once, and then I'm just gonna lay them on top of each other. Go. So now we have some petals. And the great thing about these types of petals is they're really, really, what I want to say, like they won't get damaged, right? You know, they can be traveled with really easily. You can kind of mess them up, roll them, you know, dust them, all kinds of things, and they're not going to get broken. You don't have to worry about them being so delicate. So I love making wafer paper petals. And I know Ashtakina Cakes, she has a wafer paper channel on YouTube, and she has a little bit of a different way that she makes her wafer paper petals. She just brushes on straight glycerin, which I've never tried before, and I feel like I really need to try it because that seems like a pretty good way to do it too, and a lot faster. And then she kind of like stretches the wafer and stuff, so it's also kind of a cool way to do it. So if you haven't checked out her channel, you definitely should. Has she demoed for you yet, Deb?
Yeah, she's done that before. She's done it a couple times for us.
Yeah, I love her techniques. Very cool. I was watching how to make orchids on her channel.
Yeah, she's very talented, definitely.
Okay, so once you kind of give these a little bit of zhuzhing, we can paint these. And I'm going to start with some electric pink. I like really bright flowers. So I'm using just some electric pink and some Everclear. Everclear just kind of waters down the gel color. I think we should do pink at the bottom. And this creates kind of like a watercolory look that I just really like. Very natural. And you can even come in around the edges and do like more just like clear Everclear. And it will just even like wash it all the way down. And it dries super, super fast. So if we do some clear here, and alternate between the pink and the clear, it just makes it so that it just kind of bleeds right out. Has that really pretty, like, soft look to it. So do that real quick to all of them. So I feel like this is a really great way if you need a flower super fast. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't have days and days to wait for my wafer paste or my gum paste to dry, you know?
I always like the uniqueness when you do freeform. You know, everything looks different, and that's the way nature is, you know?
I'm a big freeformer. I'm not that person who likes to measure things. And that, you know, nature's like that.
How many people watching have done this technique before or something similar to it? I know Jessie has. Jessie's done everything.
I kind of like just hold it upside down and you can just let the color just sort of run down.
Yeah, Jessie says the one thing she likes about it is that it's light on your cake, so it doesn't weigh your cake down.
Yeah, exactly. And you can layer these colors up if you want to just keep doing more and more layers and get like a nice gradient. But I mean, this one's pretty much dry already. And see, it just kind of dissolves into a perfect gradient. And I didn't have to really do anything specifically, just did it on its own. So now if I come in with another layer, you know, it's just like with your airbrushing, you can get darker and darker and darker. And then I'm going to come in with some burgundy. And I'm going to just do some like little dots.
Sarah Myers has joined us today.
Sarah Myers, oh my goodness. I miss you so much, Sarah.
I love Sarah Myers.
She's the best. She is killing it.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. I love, like, because Sarah Myers, I mean, all three of us go way back. Jesse does too. And it's just how our lives kind of have evolved, and you just kind of sit back and watch. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I can't believe your son is 3. I thought it was like 6 months ago he was born.
I know. Avalon's 8. I mean, geez.
No, she's not. No, she's 3.
No, my gosh.
I just deny it when people say they're kid, somebody I know. I'm like, no, you're not that old. And when I see my son's friends that he grew up with, no, that's not you.
Yeah.
No.
Avalon just did her first demo at our local cake decorating shop, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, this is so crazy to me.
Oh, I want to have her on.
Oh my gosh.
Can we do that? Could we totally do that?
Yeah, we totally could, as long as you are okay with her just like telling you her whole life story.
Oh my gosh, it would be so much fun.
I think she's definitely going to get into doing like fun like kid projects, because she really enjoys teaching little things like that.
Oh my gosh, I really want to do it. I would think that would be the best.
Talk about full circle.
I know. I'm not surprised, So Jessie Ann has a great grandchild. So, and Carol Ann says she's 29.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Where's my? Well, I had some centers here earlier. I don't know where they went. We're filming pies too, so we had kind of like multiple projects happening at once. But I take some of those little round flower centers. Hopefully everybody knows what I'm talking about. And I just make a little bundle to make the stem of the hibiscus. And then you can just layer these guys on. Just get them all together.
I love all the variation.
Yeah.
I know I keep saying that.
And I just love how fast it is. It's very difficult to get me to do a gum paste flower nowadays, because it's like so much easier just to do these. And then you just kind of, turn them. You have a little hibiscus flower, minus the center. So we made probably about 100 of these for the showpiece.
I love them. I love the way they
lay, like it's just so cool.
I love how easy that was, and just how quick it comes together, and how it's just really cute.
Yeah. And then of course, once you have the center in there, and then you can cover the outside in some floral tape to kind of hold it all together, but very simple. So that's that one. The next one we have here is one that I did where I just used the green gelatin. So I just painted green gelatin straight on this guy, both sides, because I wanted these to be, I wanted it to be green on both sides. Obviously, if you paint one side, the other side's not going to be green. So just like this hibiscus flower, other side, you can kind of see that it's pink, but it's not really going to be pink, right? So this one, I just painted both sides with the green gelatin. And then about every inch, I put a thin piece of floral wire. And I brushed the gelatin mixture over it and made these things. And then what I'm going to do, I should have cut half of these ahead of time. I'm going to make some little long skinny pieces like this, okay? Now, you could, what we did in Reno is we actually kind of just drew a palm leaf, and we thought, oh, that'll be easier, right? That'll be easier than making all of these individual leaves. It took forever to cut along like all of those individual lines that we drew. And then what happened was the leaf part, the petal, not the petals, but the long skinny leaves, the fronds, sheesh, you think that I knew what I've done this before, I swear. The fronds were like not strong enough to hold themselves up. So it's better to make them actually individual pieces, and then you wire them together. And I know it sounds tedious, but it doesn't really take that long. And then for the look of it, it just looks so nice. I'm just twisting down. And then you're gonna add the next one. You just put on your favorite show, you know, and you just start fronding away. And the reason I thought to do it this way is because I have like a little, you know, plastic frond palm leaf in my studio here, and I was looking at how the leaves actually attach, and I was like, these are actually not attached to each other. They're just kind of all growing out of the stem. And if you're making it for just a leaf and not like a life-size structure, you don't need it to be very big for it to say palm leaf, right? So I'm just kind of going down and down. That took like less than 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah, that was way less than 5 minutes, and you can keep going, and that can be, I mean, that will be large. You know?
I'm curious, do you like to do tedious work, or can you just not stand it? Like, I feel like there's two types of people. People who love tedious work, and other people who are like, oh my gosh, this is way too time consuming.
Think about the things that I sell. I sell an edible printer, an electronic cutter.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to do things like that. Even though I don't decorate, I think that way.
Yes. How can I make this faster and easier, right?
Exactly. And now the direct printers, it's like, and we have the sheeter now. So it's like you can roll your dough, put it in the oven in the sheets, and then put it through the printer. That's the way I think.
I know. So. That's those things blow my mind. The fact that you can actually print on cookies now is just so crazy to me. But honestly, if you had like 100 monograms to do for a wedding or for a business, I mean, it's worth the investment because it saves you in time, and then you have time to take more orders, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lynette, do I sell the electrical froster thingy? I don't know what an electrical froster thingy is. Normally I know what thingies people are talking about. Jessie Ann doesn't like the tedious word. Fast and fabulous, she says.
So this to me, I feel like is a little bit tedious, but it's not too tedious. You know, I don't like things to be too tedious, but I mean, you could make a couple of these pretty darn fast and put them onto your cake, and you know, you don't need a lot of it to really get across the palm leaf. And to me, I think this looks better than when it's all connected. I would have used put some green floral tape in here though, but for the sake of time, I just wanted to show you guys kind of quickly. So now we have our little hibiscus and a little palm frond. I mean, that's already screaming, hello, it's tropical, right?
Oh yeah. I want to do a luau. So Lynette is talking about an electronic turntable, I guess you use for frosting cakes, which I didn't know about.
Yes, so. I've been seeing it everywhere on Instagram and TikTok. It's like this, right? And the table goes on the turntable, and this motor like pushes down the top, and as it's turning, it just like frosts it automatically. I feel like it looks deceptively easy, like it would work so easily, but then I'm like, I have a feeling it's not going to work that easily, but you know.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to cut out my Monstera. That was dry. This takes 24 hours to dry, unless you live in a very dry environment. It could take less, but I think it's pretty safe to give yourself 24 hours, just in case there's. As far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, if it's like humid, it can potentially soften it as well, but I haven't had that experience personally.
I'm thinking once you put that gelatin on, it's going to act as a protectant. Jesse's going to know, and she'll tell me in a minute. But I think it kind of seals it so that doesn't happen. But yeah, wafer paper, most edible paper reacts to the humidity. The only one that doesn't as much is the Smart Sheets.
I need to try the gelatin on the Smart Sheets. I'm curious what would happen.
Ooh. Do you have any more left? Do I need to send you some?
Oh, yeah. No, I have some left. I just have.
I thought you did. Yeah. I thought you did.
This is not the ideal scissors to use for this. I like the little sewing scissors for this. We just got our wall fixed on the water damage that we had a few months ago. So not everything is quite put back where it's supposed to be yet. And I just followed the line I made earlier. I'm not just guessing.
It works. It works. What was I going to say? Yeah, I've been on the road, and I will be on the road for a while. So like today I was in my hotel room and I had everything that was in my car totally laid out, and I'm reorganizing things for like the next half of the trip. And my son comes to get me and he's like, what is all this stuff? I'm on the road for so long. I have to have a bag for these clothes are for the second half of the trip. And I need all these these extra things in case I run out. I need, I don't want to run to the store every 2 seconds, So my prescriptions and stuff, I have like everything doubled up in bags, and he's just like laughing at me.
So this is just more Everclear mixed with gel food coloring. So when you put gel food coloring in Everclear, it hardens the gel part and kind of separates it. So you get these little booger thingies that you're supposed to strain out, but I never do because I'm lazy. So I just kind of work around them. So now that my leaf is cut out, I can paint it and it will get like a nice color, a nice dark color, and I didn't have to use all of my gelatin to make it a dark green. And I feel like it just makes a nice, more realistic color as it just kind of moves around there. It's just like watercolor. I just love it so much. It's so pretty. And if you wanted to keep some of these spots open so that it looks like it's variegated and not fully one color, it's easy to do. Isn't that so pretty? And because it's shiny, it looks like a tropical plant.
Yeah, that's what I thought was neat, is the shine that's added to it.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed in your pictures. That's so cool. Yeah, Jessie did confirm. She said the humidity really doesn't get to the wafer paper once it's covered with the gelatin, but she did point out that sometimes the moisture can give it kind of an organic look because it's affecting it.
So we have our nice little Monstera leaf. I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. And then this is something that I have not shown anyone. It's a little bit of an experiment. Don't mind my wet rag here.
Oh, we mind it. We're all signing off.
I feel like people always just think it's so dirty. I'm like, it's just stained, okay? If you work in cake decorating, some of your white rags stay wet, white for long. Okay, so this is going to be like a palm frond, and so just one with the white ones painted with the mixture, and I'm going to round. Let's see, make sure I'm doing this correctly. It's this way. I'm going to do this one first, just in case it doesn't work out. We're going to go this way. I only practiced this once, and now I'm trying to remember it. Okay, so we're going to just point the top here, like that. So we got this kind of shape, right?
Cool.
And then we're going to do an accordion fold, which I have been trying to figure out how to do on wafer paper for a long time, because a long time ago I wanted to do a origami cake, and I was like, how can I make edible origami? And I tried it with wafer paper and it kept cracking, and I was like, that's not going to work. And then I tried putting just gelatin on the wafer paper, but it didn't have any moisture in it, so that was cracking. And so I finally tried it with this combination, and it works perfectly, because it's just enough that the gelatin keeps the wafer paper nice and firm, but the glycerin keeps it soft enough that you can actually fold it.
Gotcha. Now, paper potion will do that too. It doesn't give it the coating like the glycerin mixture does.
Yes.
And then when you try that Smart Sheet, that does it without anything.
Oh, shoot. I should have thought of that.
Yeah. The Smart Sheets are kind of kind of do everything paper. Oh, look at that.
I guess I thought that the glycerin, or I thought the Smart Sheets were too soft. So this is a little fan that you can do.
I love it.
Lots of people pay like $5 a piece for these fans for the top of their cakes, and they're made out of real palm leaves. You can make your own out of wafer paper, and all you have to do is just glue these parts together with some of your gelatin mixture. Oh, mine's already set up. See, it cools down and turns back into Jell-O.
Yeah. Jessie says the Smart Sheets do everything. But she did point out too, when we were talking about the humidity, that when you're painting these with the glycerin mixture, you're putting a lot of moisture on it, and it's not hurting it. So
yes, I think it was this way. I'm trying to remember which way I did this. I'm gonna have to watch the video again.
You have to watch yourself.
Okay, so you just take some of this gelatin mixture, put it between. Now I'm going to try it with the Smart Sheets. That's a really good idea too. You just press that together, and the further up you press this, the tighter it gets. You can leave it open or less open. And then I also saw that you can take your scissors, and where the point, you cut like a little V out. So you can make like a little pointed frond, which I think is super cute.
So you're cutting from each fold, the tip of each fold to the tip of each fold, it looks like.
Yeah, so I'm starting at the top, and I'm cutting at a V angle to the valley, let's say, and then going to the peak of the next and cutting down to the valley, and it makes a little pointed frond.
Like, this is so easy to do, but it looked, when I looked at your picture you provided, it was like, that looks like so hard, but it really isn't.
Yes. It's really just about layering multiple textures and different flowers and different palm leaves, and all of that comes together, and it just looks so nice, Okay, so we have this. We have this. This is dry. And you see how it kind of curls and stuff as it dries? I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like that adds like a nice look to everything.
Jessie, what can't you see? Oh, look at that, the way it comes together.
Yeah. See? So I would probably glue this maybe like somewhere right about here with some of the gelatin, or you can attach let's attach a wire. That'll probably be the easiest thing. Put a wire in here. I love how fast the gelatin dries too.
Yeah. So is it blurry for anyone else? It's fine for me, Jessie. I'm not sure if it's like that for everybody. and maybe your
Oh,
connection,
yeah.
Jesse.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Now I can see you clearly. Normally, I'm the one that can't see.
Put this one this way, this one this way. There you go. So we have our nice little thing. You could just put this right on top of a cake as a little tropical topper, or you can make a bunch of them and make a swag. You know, it's just, I mean, for how much effort you have to put into it, it's a lot of visual impact, you know?
That is so pretty.
Thank you. And I will remember to take a picture of this one. I was looking for a picture to show Debbie of what we did in Reno, and I was like, I have no pictures of this final thing. I just did all videos because I'm just so used to making video content now.
Yeah, but you can just grab a picture. I was going to do that, but then everything worked together. So yeah, that is so awesome. I love the different textures and the colors. And I love that it's light, you know. Yes. I think that adds to it too, the way that it moves.
I think I could I'm going to do another little palm to the side. So if anybody has any questions, I can answer them, or I'm just going to sit here and ramble until somebody tells me to stop.
That's what happens on our lives, actually. That would be the best way to discuss it, you know?
That's how I am.
Yeah. You just go and keep going and keep going. So
I also very rarely stick to my original plan, right? You know, it's like, oh yeah, I plan to do this, and then I just go off the rails.
Yeah, but that's what makes it fun, you know? And that's how you discover new things too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm like the queen of, I have this specific work I need to do today, but instead I'm going to try something completely different.
That's my mind. I think they call it ADHD or ADD.
Yes. Yep. Very difficult to make me do the thing that I'm supposed to be doing.
Uh-huh. It's one of my hardest things that I work on. But I did learn one trick because it's hard. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm sure I am. But I put on very specific music when I'm trying to work and focus. And so now when I turn it on, and it's the same station on Pandora every time, it's classical music for studying. So there's no words to it. But there are a lot of the popular songs that at least I think are popular. They're probably not popular now, but just in classical music, and I just, now my brain, I turn it on and it goes. And if I don't turn it on, I'm always struggling. I can't figure out why.
It's like you train your brain that when you hear this music, it's time to be productive.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
Yep. So as you get older, past the pregnancy, brain, you get other brains. Yeah. Those don't work well. There's some lapse in between everything, which is good, Because
I think part of it for me is I think of too many things at once, right? So I just need to stop multitasking so much because I literally can't even keep my thoughts straight because I'm thinking of 13 things.
Yes.
And I can't keep it all straight.
Yeah. So I try, when I really have to work, when I'm working on the emails, I'll put a pad of paper next to me. I actually work a lot off paper rather than my phone now, just because writing it down, I think, has helped cement it, but I will put it in my phone sometimes. And so when that happens and I'm ready to jump, because people will interrupt you all the time, I just write down what I'm thinking. And then it allows me, sometimes I'm trying to hold on to it so I don't forget it,
You know what this palm reminded me of, this palm frond. A long time ago in one of my competition cakes, I think it was it was the American cake show, the Satin Ice's first show.
Oh, yeah.
And I did a wedding cake, and I did a tree that had individual leaves all wired together to make the tree. And every single leaf was gum paste. And I'm sitting here going, I should have used wafer paper.
Oh my gosh.
It would have been a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. And hey, Marissa, I can't wait until you try those smart sheets.
Yeah.
Once
I've
for
used
some of
them
the
for
stuff.
edible images. I just haven't thought
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, they're beautiful for edible images. They make a very high definition if you print on the smooth side, but they go where wafer paper does, icing sheets do, flex frost does. They kind of take little pieces of each one into that sheet. So you're going to go bananas when you start trying like this. You're going to just wow. It's going to be fun to watch what your brain does with it.
Yes. Well, thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this
Thank
demo.
you.
You can use some of these techniques. If you do, be sure to tag Icing Images and Sugar Geek Show so that we can share them on our social media. And I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was really awesome. Thank you so much. I think everybody loved it. Jesse's still talking about Smart Sheet. She says it's wonderful for 3D and lace. Jesse uses things for everything. It's really cool. I do want to remind everybody that I am picking up Adriana. I can't say her name right, so I apologize if I blow it because it's spelled baloney, but I know that's not the way it's pronounced in Spanish. So I think it's Bologna. And I'm probably butchering it. I'm really bad at that stuff. But you need to look her up and see some of the work she does. Very unique. I'm gonna on bologna.com. There's her website. So this is going to be really fun. So I'm going back to Houston, and I'm going to pick her and her son up. And she speaks Spanish. I speak English. I know about 4 words. Thank God, goodness, her son, Tomas, is bilingual. He says he's not really, but he is. He's better than he thinks. And we are going to be traveling to the Sweet Chalet in Orlando, Sanford, actually. And here is the link for you guys. If you're anywhere there between Friday and Monday, check out the classes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Marissa's going to help clear that up. I've been messing up a lot of things, so it's just the way it is. So, but definitely join us for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be teaching a lot of things. It's a fall festival there, so definitely check it out. Liz, you are awesome. And I love having you on. I wish we could have you on more, but I know how crazy busy you are.
I know you've been hounding me for like a year. Like, Liz. I'm like, I know.
It'll work out eventually. It does. Yeah, no, you're not.
All right, well, it was so nice seeing you guys, and I will talk to you soon, Deb.
All right, take care. And guys, please get your mammogram. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Thank you for getting your mammogram scheduled. Take care, guys. Happy decorating. We'll see you next Tuesday with Timbo. Take care. Hi, Carmen. Bye, Carmen.